All right, good morning, everyone. 9:43 on this Wednesday. It's going to be a really nice day today, despite all the gloomy graphics and the music. It'll be a nice day today. That all starts to change, though, tomorrow as we get into an active weather pattern. Hello, everyone. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Storm Talk. I know it's not snow talk today, although I do have at least 2 mentions of snow that will happen in this outlook today, but the idea that it's not snow talk should tell you which one is probably a little more important right now anyway, to give you a hint on that. As always, you guys can comment on Facebook as well as Twitter and on YouTube if you have any comments or questions, and I'm sure you may, more so on timing as always in these kind of situations, because really there's 2 different storm systems we're going to be tracking. One's going to be tomorrow. Overall, fairly tame with that idea. And then we got the one for next week, which is still varying a bit on timing, but very likely will be declared an alert day as early as this afternoon. That may take place for that system. So there's a lot to watch in the next 7 days, let alone 10. All right, so I don't want to get all these confused because they're different systems, but they all have a similar theme to them. So at least pay attention to the timing as I break down each one of these, as I always try to do. And hopefully, if I've gotten to the end of that and I've answered your question, great. But if I haven't, as always, feel free to ask. All right, there we go. So let's get right into where we're at today, which today actually is a really nice setup. I mean, beautiful looking sky, got some high level clouds streaming overhead. Humidity is going to be very low today. Another day of walking across the carpet and shocking your friend or shocking yourself, touching the doorknob kind of day. So very low humidity. Not a ton of wind yet that'll be showing up. And that's something that we were monitoring yesterday for today's setup, because that would put us a little more into a fire danger type of situation. But I think we may be able to stay out of that range barely, but still out of it. So if you have any plans or know anyone that was going to do any type of outdoor burning today, just pay extra attention. Okay, 42 now. This number is changing every time I'm looking at it, because we are steadily climbing with dry air and a good south wind. Yeah, it's there's no doubts it's going to be quite the warm setup today. All right, so wind gusts at times. We'll try to get up there closer to about 15 to 20, and then tomorrow we'll get it up a little closer to 30, 35, but tomorrow it'll be raining, so that's the trade-off. All right, you see the high-level clouds streaming overhead. This system, it's actually a 2-parter ordeal that's coming our way for your Thursday. Right now, the severe risk, it really highlights the 2 pieces, too. You can see the one marginal risk into Illinois and the other one back into the northern part of the Ozarks. That is really the question, and we've got tomorrow, is the 2 will also still be over us as we get into your Thursday. And it's not so much on severe weather as it is which one is going to take the lead on becoming the main one to produce the rainfall and lightning and thunder for the day, as that will greatly impact rain totals, because we're not, again, outlook for severe weather tomorrow, although it's a non-zero chance, but it's really low. But we are outlooked for the potential for flash flooding. So that makes more sense only because of the angle of the two systems. A bit of a training effect happens with these bands of rain you're about to see moving southwest to northeast. So you can get some fairly high totals in areas that end up, especially getting the influence of both of these little waves that come through. You'll have some of the higher totals into wave country. Okay, so let's start with one of our in-house models. This is not exactly how it's going to play out, but just give you, again, this is a tool that we use to try to explain how things are looking. Today, again, fantastic. A lot of folks were out in the neighborhood yesterday, getting outside, trying to enjoy the nice weather. Highly encourage you to do that today. Although everyone's starting to sneeze a little more. We haven't, the only few, I think it's well, Twanum's looking this up as a juniper, and I think there was a weed that was also showing up a little early that was trying to grow. That's probably leading to some of you starting to sneeze. So be mindful of that. And sinus infections with dry air don't do great. So if you have a lot of sinus issues, that'll show up. Anyway, tangent. High level clouds, it's got 63 here. We're not going to be at 63. We're going to be way warmer than that. There is an outside chance we could knock at the door there of 70 this afternoon. Quite warm. All right, so we get into a warm setup tonight. The first rounds of showers or raindrops that hit the radar will be tomorrow morning, very, very light, mainly along the north of 64, ahead of the first low that it moves in. Again, there's two different lows that we're looking at. One's moving through the Midwest, tracking this way. The other one's going to be moving across Missouri and heading into Tennessee. It's the first low that will start to fire up at least some showers. I don't see much in the way of thunder or anything like that. And even the morning rush does not look to be a huge mess with this because it will be relatively light. But it will start to ramp up as we head throughout the day. The change here is that there is a slight delay on getting some of your more intense showers and thunderstorms to light up on the radar. That may take into about mid-afternoon tomorrow versus midday. Not a huge difference, but the afternoon rush does not look pretty the way it looks now. Here's lunch. And again, not too bad. And some of the models, again, not as tame as this. Some a little more active, but I like the slower idea right now just because the interacting of the two lows. And you see where they start to blend. Here's the first piece, enhancing the rain across Louisville area up 71 into Ohio. And here's the second piece now firing up a band of showers and some thunderstorms. And again, it's a non-threat, zero threat of severe weather. But the one thing that's really missing here on this is the idea we're not going to have a lot of fuel to be gained just because we're going to be so cloudy and they'll have the light showers early in the day. Not exactly a prime setup, which is good to get anything as far as severe weather to begin to pop. So we're not concerned about that, but this is a fairly good signal for a training effect and some high rain totals. If we were to see this second piece do exactly what you're seeing here on Futurecast, then I think we're easily going to see about inch and a half on some of these rain totals. What is interesting is because we see two different lows moving through, and we see this often, is that when there's a transfer that happens between one to the second one, there is a gap that can form in some of the rain totals. That may, once again, be very close to Louisville where that gap is. So we may be on the lower end of the totals. We'll see. Once we get into your Thursday, we'll have a better idea on the radar trends and the blending of the two. But again, you can get, and that lower end number is probably like a 0.4 of an inch, a half inch. So it's not overly low. It's still that's a decent drink of water, right? But versus an inch and a half, that's a different story. So just pay extra attention tomorrow. Again, plan on a messy afternoon commute, not so much for the morning. After it moves by, you can see where it's got the showers and storms. That once that second piece takes over, it becomes the main feature and just takes everything out of here. However, this is where it's a little minor issue here, but this is going to be later into Friday night. So Friday daytime looks chilly, mostly cloudy. We'll get a little bit of sun, not a whole lot. But Friday night into Saturday, there is a clipper, if you will, that will dive straight in from Canada right into the heart of wave country, if not between here and West Virginia. It seems to be the zone. What is interesting about this is that there is a growing signal for some rain going to snow showers early on Saturday. And yeah, even some of the modeling spitting out accumulation of a dusting. Doubt that's going to happen. Ground's too warm. It's very, very light. This is one of those setups where rate is not going to be there to trump the warm ground. So a minor thing. So again, just a few flakes possible on Saturday. Just give you an idea, though, that it is technically still winter. So just want to at least mention if you wake up, have your cup of coffee on Saturday and like, it's snowing outside. Fully expected that to happen here, but it's, again, minor. Just really gives you the yin-yang idea of the warm surge and the cold blast, because we're going to see that repeat several more times, likely all the way through March, too. We'll see that. Okay, so let me show you two of the main models to get through the extended part. So what I just explained to you was the Thursday rain into the Friday or the Saturday morning flurries. Overall, though, the weekend looks quiet. I will say the biggest difference between Saturday and Sunday will literally just be temperature. Only in the 40s on Saturday, Sunday into the 60s. That's a 20-degree jump from one half of the weekend to the other. So if you have anything planned outside, even though there could be a few light sprinkles or even pockets of drizzle on Sunday, Sunday is going to be the better feeling day versus Saturday. All right, I'm going to show the euro first. Interesting enough, there is that little wave Friday night and Saturday morning as it dips in across the Ohio River Valley. It's a minor feature there. All right, then we get into how next week will go. Now, next week, once again, is a 1-2 type of punch here. We've got a front and a low that'll be moving in Monday into Tuesday, and then the second one will be Tuesday into Wednesday. So here's the first one moving on by, and you could see how it doesn't do much. It just mainly just brings in the warmer air. We got a few light showers possible as we hit into Tuesday. Nothing major. The red here you see listed, that is your fuel, your instability that starts to really light up. And look how far north that goes. I mean, this is a look you would see more toward late May and parts of June to see that type of instability surging all the way into the Great Lakes. So this is a bit unusual. The Euro by far is the most aggressive with the system, by the way, but it moves in with quite the punch there as we hit into Wednesday. And you see just a slither there of red that is showing up, indicating enough fuel to lead to showers and thunderstorms that would contain every weather element as far as severe weather on the table on that. And it's damaging winds, it'd be isolated tornadoes, it'd be the whole gamut. Mainly because it has the front moving in at the max heating of the day, roughly 4 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Not good. You do not want a daytime timing of this, even though I still think if this were a nocturnal event and arrival, I still think it would have quite the kick to it. Don't get me wrong, but that would not be good to have it as a daytime event. Either way, it does look quite windy, and the wind will start Tuesday. It's going to be a very windy 48 hours, more than likely. Wind advisories, have a good feeling are going to come out for this, and in some cases, we're going to get up there on the higher end of that advisory level. Hold on one second. Let me get rid of the spammer. It's always Maria. Hello, Maria. But here's the problem, though. We can't take this completely at face value right now because this is just one model run of a situation. There are other models to look at. How did Maria get past me? I know I just blocked her. Man, she's getting good. She's getting good. She's getting good. These spammers today, they're starting to worry me. Okay. That's just one model's idea. There are others that we're going to be looking at, too, in the next few days. But the entire setup is what you got to look at. And this is going to be a significant wave that's passing through the Great Lakes and the Ohio River Valley. So, again, on paper, it's got everything there listed for strong thunderstorms, high winds, and heavy rainfall. Okay. The Euro, what is interesting, wants to change this over to snow Wednesday night, just a few hours after a severe threat. It wants to go to snow with a 30-degree temperature drop. So the Euro, again, is the most aggressive on this whole idea, quite dramatic, in fact. And then it stays chilly for a couple of days, and we try to bounce back. Now let me show you the GFS, which, hold on, wait a minute, let me back up here. GFS, by the way, there's this Saturday. It's a little more aggressive, too, that little wave on this Saturday's snow showers. Not worried about that. Okay, so we move past. Here comes the first little wave again, Monday to Tuesday, a few light showers possible. And here we go. The severe weather ingredients are being added into the mix as we head into especially Wednesday. That's when we start to get the showers and storms. Now, this is a little more of what we call more of a positive tilt to the front. So it's a little faster on the idea of trying to get the front in here and get it quickly to the south. It still has a severe risk, don't get me wrong, but it's not as brutal as what the Euro has. And even the different runs of the GFS, in some cases, don't fire the severe weather up until it gets to Tennessee. It kind of bypasses this altogether. So that's still being worked out on some of the finer details. But again, it still has a significant system that is going to be coming through the area. So I still think that's going to be a problem for for Wednesday. There is a chance it could be faster in timing as we get closer and it moves up to a Tuesday time period for thunderstorms. Right now, I think Wednesday is still the one we're going to target for now. And still a chance for it to go maybe to a brief period of snow, nothing major on that, and stays chilly. Here's an updated look at the CSU, the Colorado State learning module for severe weather, and it's already got us into higher probability into the red, if you can see the red there. And the black dot indicates the max location it thinks the severe weather would be, which is about Evansville, Indiana. So again, to see this out, I think this is day 7 on the system. So day 7 is remarkable and concerning. Storm Prediction Center has not issued any outlook yet. They again stated that they are watching it carefully. They may pull the trigger on that idea tomorrow and get a map out that will likely include, I can't imagine it would include the Ohio Valley, but certainly would include Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, parts of Tennessee, and even parts of Indiana. But I can't imagine that wave country would not be included in outlook in this kind of a setup. So there you go. That's just getting us through the middle of next week. So about a 7-day window is what we're looking at. Any questions that I can try to answer? Cameron, GFS is still mixing between Dixie Valley or Dixie Alley and Ohio Valley, but latest run is starting to push deep south. More sounds leading to the Ohio Valley minus the Cape. Do you think next will be more them than us? Okay, hopefully I just answered that, Cameron. It's a good question. You're paying attention to each model run, I can tell. And that's the problem here. You're going to see this fluctuate a lot. Okay, this is 7 days out. So you're going to see it. It may speed back up on the midday models today, and it's Tuesday midday that we get the round of thunderstorms. Or it could slow down, and it may end up being late Wednesday night. That window is going to keep fluctuating. That's normal in this kind of a setup. You can't really look at that so much as the idea that there's going to be a significant wave move through here when it comes to rain, wind, and severe weather will be on the table. But even a nighttime event, this is such a highly deep shear type system that you don't need much fuel at all. You don't need much at all to get into the severe potential and damaging winds. So that's something that we got to watch carefully. Let's see, Travis, you see the new major stratospheric warming? Oh boy, can bring high blocking. Yes, I have seen the discussions about it. You got to keep in mind stratospheric warming, which Travis is talking about, the higher portion of the atmosphere and latitudes that we end up in March. When you get one, the impacts, there's still a lot of studies on this. We don't see that many, but the impacts have been less, other than being annoyingly cold and miserable all the way into April sometimes when I've seen this happen. So that's the only, and I tried to caution you guys yesterday, even though everyone's got spring fever and all the talk right now, spring has sprung, it's here, no more winter. I'm not buying that entirely. I think there will be still some winter attacks. It just won't be a constant January cold winter thinking that we all have. It'll come in waves like we're seeing with this storm track and this pattern. You're going to see a lot more of this kind of repeat itself into March, which means severe weather. And at times it will mean a chance to get some snow and some cold shots. That's not good for a lot of you gardeners out there when it comes to planting. That kind of back and forth is going to make it a bit of a challenge planting this season the way it's looking. Hopefully I'm going to get a soggy one too, to where you end up with a lot of flooding issues. We tend to run into that around here with this kind of a storm track. All right, so there you go. Danny, you're talking 50 mile per hour winds next Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now, just general wind is likely 40 to 45, maybe a touch higher. Thunderstorm winds would, have potential go well over 60. So yeah, that's getting into your severe potential. But just general wind, I think it's going to be a good 35 to 48 hours in that range of gusts. It could easily get up to 45 in a gusty fashion, but quite windy, which is to be expected, especially if you get a 30-degree temperature drop as we get into the nighttime hours. All right, so there you go, guys. I'm going to end it there. I feel like I've been rambling a lot. So Ashley, I see you. Ashley, right now, this is going to be Wednesday for now, Wednesday day. But stay tuned, Ashley. I promise you, we'll be watching it. We got plenty of time. We got to get through tomorrow's system first, guys. Let's get through that and track it on the radar trends for tomorrow, and keep it on these rain totals. And then we'll promise you we're going to be watching next week. In fact, again, we may have an alert day out as early as this afternoon for next week's scenario, just to make sure everyone stays on top of it. All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you on midday.